Hey, good morning, everyone. So, I posted a while back on my personal page Fritatta, and I know that several people said, "Oh, why don't you make a video?" And I kind of was resistant because I'm like, it's so easy. There's not a lot of content to it, but so here we are. And what we'll do is we'll just add on some of the conversation about it after the fact. But since I'm meal prepping and I'm actually going to make one, I thought, why not? We'll just record it. Show you how easy it is. I've got a dozen eggs that I have cracked into my bowl. You bring the eggs up before you do this to room temperature. I have, in this case today, I'm using chorizo. So I have that, it's already pre-cooked. I grind that up and I've cooked it, and you always start these things with your meats should be cooked. You don't want to start with a raw sausage or anything like that. You can use whatever you want in there. If you want to pre-cook bacon and have a bunch of bacon, have bacon. You want mushrooms and onions, do that. You want to soften up some cream cheese to blend into these eggs, you could do that. Sky is the limit. Customize it to you. This is just a flavor that we enjoy. I have my shredded cheese. This is the Cabot Extra Sharp Cheddar, but again, very flexible. Get yourself a melty sort of cheese. It just goes well with the foods. Pair it up. So like if you wanted a nice creamy Gouda or spinach and goat cheese, all of those are really viable options. I happen to shred a bunch of this up, so that's what we're using today. So I also have my deep dish pie dish that I have generously buttered. Look at that, you can even see the butter. Generously. And that is so that the egg kind of gets that crusty brown and then also doesn't stick to the dish. A traditional frittata, oh, I'm going to get into it even though I want to talk about this after the fact, is kind of actually more of an open-faced omelet, and you would usually use your cast iron, and I'll say I don't want to use my stove. I just don't, and this is 1,000 times simpler. So it's easy. I'm going to start with whisking the eggs up. I was talking about like the flavor profiles. I probably should have started whisking, but it's just the eggs. And as I've gotten them beaten, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm adding in a half a cup of water. I know that sounds weird, like you think it should be cream or something like that, but cream, you can put some if you really, really want to, but it makes it heavier. And the water helps lighten up and loosen the eggs so that they can expand a bit more and you get a more airy texture in the eggs. You don't have to be too crazy about it. You want them mixed up. You don't want streaks of white in there. So that's pretty much the goal with the beating. I have also preheated my Instapot OmniPlus air fryer convection oven to 370. I put like an hour, but you will not need an hour. You have to kind of watch these. Grind my pepper to taste. There's already a lot of flavor in the chorizo, so I don't go too crazy with seasoning in the eggs. But if you're using something like spinach and goat cheese, you might want to add in some chili flakes and other things to kind of boost it up. But I'm going to put my black pepper and salt. I probably should have ground this up before I started filming, right? But what's it hurt? So, and it's Redmond salt, you know, that's my favorite, like a lot of keto places. Anyway, just give that a little bit of a mix. And that's all there is to this part. The next part is, remember to get a spoon. You take your meat, and we're going to put that on the bottom layer. Yes, it's a layered up sort of thing. Spread it out evenly across the bottom. I told you, easy peasy, right? If it's bacon, you just crumble it up on the bottom. If it's whatever you want. Very, very simple. I'm going to keep saying that because I want you to really believe it. that's the way you do things, right? If you say it enough times, it'll translate. Anyways, then you take your cheese. We like things very cheesy around here. If you want less cheese or no cheese, you don't gotta have it, but then you should compensate for that with some other filling. Like I said, if you have a layer of bacon, I will tell you that another layer of mushrooms on top of that is really great. So, but as you can see, this is a deep dish pie dish, and even though it's not a ton of the chorizo and the cheese, it does fill up the pan quite a lot. The eggs are gonna sort of fill in the cracks and come up in here. So now, that is my cheese. Let me just toss that away real quick. Put that back in the fridge. So now I've got my eggs. I make sure my filling hasn't fallen to the bottom. And we just simply pour this right into the pie dish, and it sinks in and fills the gaps from the cheese and the meat. And you just want to make sure that you get like a little uneven sort of coverage in there. And it'll spread out some, but not a ton, which is why you kind of have to move it around. Done. Oops, sorry for the clatter. There you go. Give it a little shake to even it out. You can see it doesn't like 100%. There's some cheese on top. It'll brown. From here, I know this is going to be very shocking, but look at that. We just put it right in. And boom. So the reason I put a whole hour on there as opposed to a shorter amount of time, they're fickle. It can take anywhere from 25 minutes to 50. And it's going to depend. You do have to keep an eye on it. So when I say it's easy because look, we're already into the baking portion, but you do have to pay attention. And what's going to happen is periodically you check on it, and probably about the 25-minute mark, you're going to take a look, and you'll see it'll start to rise, but the middle will still be like very liquidy. You want to take a judgment and see how brown that cheese is getting, and the egg is getting, because if it's getting pretty brown, you don't want it to burn while it's trying to cook the middle. So you'll take a piece of tin foil and kind of just lay it over the top. So that will prevent the browning, but also still allow the egg to cook. It'll also trap in a little bit of steam, which helps increase the temperature. You don't want the entire ambient temperature, just a little bit to focus on that center. So the tin foil is the perfect device for that. So we're going to take a break, and I will come back, let you know how much time has passed. I'll show you what I mean about that liquidy center, even though it might throw it off kilter just a smidge. So see you in a minute. Okay everyone, so I pulled this out. It's actually doing pretty good, better than usual, but it's obviously screaming hot. But so there you go. You can see how it's still got that jiggle from the middle. It's not done. It's still a lot of liquid, but the top looks totally golden brown. That's what I was talking about. I can tell you that I had put the hour on. There's 35 minutes remaining. It won't need that. It needs maybe like another 10 to 15 minutes. So this is what I was talking about needing the tin foil. I'm just going to stick that back in here. I was worried all that jiggling about I was going to like break the surface. Thankfully I did not. But you don't got to tighten it down or anything. You just lay it over the top. And you leave it, and boom, we'll be done. I'll pull it out in another 10 minutes or so, check it, and then share it with you. So, and we'll see the last part of our frittata making. Hey everyone, so it's back out. You can see the top is very golden. It has also gotten a nice little dome on it. There is no more jiggle. Let me get my gloves because it is very, very hot. I cannot touch it. But you can see there's no more wiggle room. It's got a nice toasty cheese and egg crust. And it has, I don't know if you can really see it, but it's pulled away from the side just a smidge. So that is all there is to it. But before we cut into it, we need to let it sit and sink back down. And so we will be back and we will cut and take a slice and try it out. So, like I said, you can definitely do this. Even if you're not an elaborate cook or you don't like cooking a lot, you can see there wasn't a whole lot to it. 100% you can do these. And for us, we're going to cut this into 6 portions. I know people think the deep dish pie dish means 8 portions, but that's not a satisfactory portion for me. If we cut it into 6, that's about right. Some people will want 4. So that's why we don't calculate the macros. You can certainly cut it into 8 pieces if you want to savor it and have it with another side. But 6 is where I like to cut on these. And I will show you that again shortly. It has to sit and cool down just a smidge. It's too hot to deal with right at the moment. So I'll see you again just real quick here. Okay everyone, so here we are. We're back. And as you can see now, we've got this, it's sunk back and shrunk in just a little bit more. So we're ready to slice it. It is still very warm, but we get in here, you just cut right through, carve through that little crispy cheese top. I said 6 pieces, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's see. Probably not the most accurate 6 pieces ever, but I'm not too worried about it. You would be more worried about it if you are tracking really close right now, but it's very low in carbohydrates, the whole 9 yards for me. So for me, generally 6 and knowing a slight range. By the way, there was a Dyson appearance. That's good enough for me. So let me just get in here. I don't know if I cut all the way through there. You know, the first piece always gets messed up anytime you're cutting something in a circle, but not today. But I want you to see, you can see how, remember we put that meat on the bottom, but it actually has come up and raised and lifted. So now it is throughout, and on the bottom, you know, is here, and the cheese kind of stayed and grew. It made the crispy, it's part egg, part cheese, and then there's like a nice little bit of a cheesy layer right over the meat that lifted up. Sort of like, you know, like pecan pies when you made those and you put the pecans in the bottom, and then as they cook, the pecans come to the top. It's sort of like that. So, put that on my plate. And boy, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. You can see little wisps of the steam. It's still really hot. I don't know if I can bite it. We're gonna do it. So it's super soft and creamy. There you go. Ooh, as I cut it, you saw it. Now you see the steam for sure. It's still pretty hot. I'm gonna burn my mouth. I hope that you guys appreciate that. I'm actually gonna burn my mouth because I'm hungry and I can't wait to eat it. I love the chorizo in there. That spicy meat really comes through and blends well with the eggs. So now you know, and now I've done a video, so I expect to see a bunch of you making these frittatas or open baked omelets, whatever you want to call it, crustless quiche, you name it. It's all about the same. But I look forward to seeing that, and let's see what flavor combos. Post what you like in your crustless quiche, frittata, baked omelet concoctions in the comments below. And if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button, then the little bell icon so you're notified every time we upload or go live. And join us on Sunday nights for our coffee talk, where we usually brew a warm beverage and then we make a ketogenic recipe and then spend time just chatting amongst ourselves. So I'll see you later. Bye bye.